Anxiety doesn't just whisper, it shouts. It quickens your breath. It hijacks your thought. It paralyzes your decisions. And worst of all, it convinces you that something terrible is just around the corner. You try to be rational. You tell yourself to calm down, but logic doesn't always work, does it? That's because anxiety doesn't only live in your thoughts, it lives in your brain. In Rewire Your Anxious Brain, psychologist Catherine Pittman and writer Elizabeth Karle take us on a powerful journey into the neuroscience of anxiety. They show us that anxiety doesn't come from a single place. It has two roots, two pathways in the brain. The amygdala, the ancient emotional alarm system. The cortex, the logical, imaginative storyteller. These two systems cause different types of anxiety and each must be approached in a different way. Once you understand how they work, you don't just learn to manage anxiety. You learn to retrain your brain. To respond instead of react. To move from fear to freedom. Let's go deeper. Chapter 1. Understanding the dual pathways of anxiety. Anxiety is not just in your head, it's in your brain's wiring. The amygdala is your body's built-in alarm system. It's fast, automatic, and unconscious. It reacts before you even know what's happening. That's why your heart can race, your palms sweat, and your breath shorten all before your mind understands what's going on. Then there's the cortex, the thinking brain. It imagines, predicts, and sometimes catastrophizes. This is where your thoughts spin out of control. You rehearse worst-case scenarios, even when nothing is physically wrong. These two systems don't always work together. In fact, they often amplify each other. The cortex tells a scary story, and the amygdala responds with panic. The body reacts, and the brain says, "See? Something's wrong." Understanding which pathway is triggering your anxiety is the first step to healing. Chapter 2. Amygdala-based anxiety. The fast fear. Imagine stepping into the street and jumping back as a car speeds by. That reaction didn't come from your thoughts, it came from your amygdala. This part of your brain has one job: keep you alive. It stores emotional memories, especially fear, and uses them to trigger fast, automatic reactions. The amygdala doesn't think, it reacts. Sometimes this system saves you, but sometimes it turns everyday life into a threat. A dog barks, your heart races. You hear an argument, your muscles tense. Someone raises their voice, and your body enters survival mode. Amygdala-based anxiety is often unexplained. You feel it before you understand it. And trying to reason it away doesn't work because this part of the brain doesn't listen to logic. That's why to heal amygdala-based anxiety, you need new experiences, not just new thoughts. You need to train your brain to see safety again. Chapter 3. Rewiring the amygdala. From fear to familiar. So how do we calm the amygdala? Not by talking to it, but by experiencing safety repeatedly. The authors introduce the idea of exposure with regulation, gradually facing your fears, while staying calm and present, repeating the experience until the fear fades. Each time you do this, your brain updates, it learns. This situation isn't dangerous. This feeling won't kill me. I can survive this. Over time, those fear-based neural pathways weaken and new, calmer patterns emerge. This is reconditioning. And it's powerful. You don't need to erase your past fears. You just need to overwrite them one calm breath at a time. Chapter 4. Cortex-based anxiety. The mind that won't stop talking. Now, let's talk about cortex-based anxiety. This is the kind you can narrate. What if I lose my job? What if they don't like me? What if something bad happens to my kids? It's fueled by imagination. It often starts small but spirals quickly. The cortex is brilliant, but when it's scared, it becomes a factory of catastrophic thinking. And because it sounds logical, we believe it. But most cortex-based anxiety is just a bad mental habit. A loop of worry, reinforced over time. The solution here isn't exposure. It's interruption and redirection. You have to notice when your thoughts are lying to you and learn to think differently. Chapter 5. Retraining the cortex, thought by thought. To rewire the cortex, the authors teach cognitive restructuring. Identify the anxious thought. Question its truth. Replace it with a more balanced view. This doesn't mean lying to yourself or pretending everything is fine. It means choosing a thought that's both realistic and empowering. Instead of "I can't handle this," say "This is hard, but I've gotten through worse." Instead of "Something terrible will happen," try There's no evidence for that right now. Each time you interrupt a fear spiral and choose clarity, you're building a new mental pathway. You're teaching your cortex to think on your side. Chapter 6. The power of mindfulness and body awareness. Whether your anxiety is coming from your amygdala or cortex, one tool helps both. Mindfulness. Mindfulness brings you back to this moment, not your fears, not your stories, not your past. By learning to observe your thoughts, feel your body, and sit with sensations without panicking, you build a bridge between your brain and your breath. You stop being a victim of anxiety and become its witness. The book also encourages body practices: diaphragmatic breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, grounding exercises. Each one gives your nervous system a new message. You're safe now. And that message, repeated enough, changes your brain. Chapter 7. Building a rewiring routine. The authors don't promise instant results, but they do promise that with consistency, change is inevitable. They encourage building a daily rewiring routine, including journaling anxious triggers, labeling the anxiety source amygdala or cortex, practicing exposure or thought work, ending with a grounding technique. This isn't just coping. This is healing the root. You're not managing anxiety. You're rewriting your brain's language of safety. That's transformation. Chapter 8. When to ask for help. Sometimes anxiety is overwhelming. Sometimes it's rooted in trauma, deep wiring, or mental health disorders. The authors are clear: you don't have to do this alone. Therapy, medication, and support are not signs of weakness. They are part of healing. There is no shame in needing help. The goal is never independence at all costs, it's wholeness, whatever that looks like. You are not broken. You are not beyond repair. You are just learning to walk home to safety one step at a time. Your anxiety is not your identity. It is not your fault. And it is not your future. Your brain is changeable. Your patterns can be rewired. And your peace is not beyond reach. If this video spoke to you, if you recognized yourself in these words, then please subscribe to Real Deep Understanding. Here we don't just chase information, we reclaim clarity. We dive into wisdom, healing, and the tools that help us live from presence, not fear. Like this video if you want more neuroscience-backed insight. Comment, which part of your anxiety feels most familiar, the amygdala's reaction or the cortex's story? And share this with someone who needs the reminder: you're not crazy, you're just anxious, and you can heal. And you don't have to outrun your fear. You just have to meet it with understanding. And then you rewire.